Good evening. I want to thank Dr. York and the seminary for inviting me to speak this evening. I really love RPTS, so it's a joy to get to share about my experience there. So as Mark mentioned, I came to Pittsburgh about 3 years ago. I moved here from Colorado. I came to get my MTS with the biblical counseling concentration. I have been able to work part-time for the seminary for most of that time, started missions, and have been working at the Biblical Counseling Institute. And I'm just so thankful for how the Lord has used RPTS in my life. I think about when I first came here, just my mindset and who I was. I think in many ways I'm a different person, and I'm sure that many of you can think of times and places that the Lord has used to just change you in maybe a more intense way. And I think that RPTS has been a place like that for me. And I think that many of my classmates would probably say the same thing. So I was trying to think about what are some of the things that God has really used to help shape me in the past few years. And I thought of 3 that were really significant. The first one is just the times of worship and of prayer that we have as a community. We have chapel 4 times a week. We have weekly prayer time in President's office. We have just other times of prayer and fellowship as a student body. And I think we really just love to worship together. We love to pray with each other and pray for each other. And I've just been ministered to time and time again by the preaching of the word, from my professors and fellow students. I've been prayed for many times, and it's really a testament to God's faithfulness in using the means that He's given us for our growth. Another factor that was really significant is the training that I've received at RPTS. I think a big emphasis across all my classes has been the fact that we must honor Christ in our hearts first before we can be servants of Christ. Of course, my focus has been on biblical counseling, and I can't tell you how many times I was sitting under Professor Evans or reading a counseling book or even preparing for a session, and the Lord used that to instruct me or encourage me. I just learned a lot about forgiveness in my own life, or how Christ walks with us. And I was just talking to another student this week, and we were talking about how amazing God is to work through His Word to change people, and what a gift it is to be an instrument in His work in changing people. So I'm really thankful for that. And a third factor, which is I think just the most resounding one, I'm sure that really anyone would echo, it's just the Christ-like care that I've received while at RPTS. So when I moved here a few years ago, I moved into a little apartment in Ed and Nancy Blackwood's basement, and they just welcomed me and showed me around, and they've been just tremendous friends these past years. And Dr. York pulled me aside my first quarter, I think, and he said, "I know you've just made a big move. You're far away from your immediate family, and if you just need anything, just ask." And I know he really meant that. I certainly would not have had the courage to continue pursuing biblical counseling if it weren't for the just encouraging words and the counsel that I received from Professor Evans. And I know that every professor at some point has just spoken into my life, given me words of encouragement, pointing me to Christ in just the most loving of ways, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So graduation this May will be bittersweet. I'll be very sad to leave RPTS, sad not to be in chapel every day. But really my prayer is that all of us who are being trained at RPTS, as we go out into the church, into the world, that it would be like seeds that are scattered and planted, and that produce 100-fold crop for Christ's kingdom. Thank you.